Hi, welcome to my channel. Now, we uncover the untold story of the fall of the Berlin Wall, when freedom tore down the Iron Curtain. Introduction: a wall that divided the world. On November 9th, 1989, the world witnessed an event that would change the course of modern history: the fall of the Berlin Wall. For 28 long years, this wall stood as a grim symbol of division, separating not just a city, but two powerful ideologies: communism and capitalism, the East and the West. The day it fell, millions rejoiced, tears flowed, and the world saw the beginning of a new era of hope, unity, and freedom. Why the Berlin Wall was built. After World War II ended in 1945, Germany was divided into 4 zones, each controlled by one of the Allies: the United States, the Soviet Union, Great Britain, and France. The city of Berlin, although deep within the Soviet-controlled zone, was also divided into 4 parts. By 1949, 2 separate countries emerged: West Germany, Federal Republic of Germany, democratic and supported by the West, and East Germany, German Democratic Republic, communist and backed by the Soviet Union. Berlin became the center of conflict. Thousands of East Germans were fleeing to West Berlin every day in search of better lives, freedom, and opportunity. To stop this mass migration, the East German government, supported by the Soviets, decided to build a wall. On the night of August 13, 1961, soldiers and workers began sealing off the border with barbed wire and concrete. Families were separated overnight. Streets were cut in half. People who went to sleep together one night found themselves living in 2 different worlds the next morning. Life behind the wall. The Berlin Wall was more than just concrete. It was a fortress. It stretched for over 155 kilometers, 96 miles, surrounded by barbed wire fences, guard towers, searchlights, and landmines. East Berliners lived under strict communist rule. Their lives were monitored by the Stasi, one of the most feared secret police forces in history. Freedom of speech was forbidden. Western TV and radio were banned. Many East Germans tried to escape, but most failed. Some dug tunnels under the wall. Others used fake passports, and some even built hot air balloons to cross. An estimated 140 people died trying to cross the Berlin Wall, shot by border guards or killed by landmines. The world watches. As the Cold War intensified between the United States and the Soviet Union, the Berlin Wall became the ultimate symbol of the Iron Curtain, a physical representation of the division between the communist East and the capitalist West. American presidents used the wall as a symbol in their speeches. In 1963, President John F. Kennedy visited Berlin and famously declared, "Ich bin ein Berliner," I am a Berliner, expressing solidarity with the citizens of West Berlin. Decades later, in 1987, President Ronald Reagan stood before the wall and made a historic appeal to Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev. "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." The world listened. The seeds of change had been planted. Change begins the winds of reform. By the late 1980s, the Soviet Union was changing. Mikhail Gorbachev introduced 2 major reforms: perestroika, restructuring, and glasnost, openness, giving people more freedom and transparency. Eastern Europe began to feel the ripple effects. Countries like Poland, Hungary, and Czechoslovakia started revolting against communist governments. East Germans too began protesting in massive numbers, chanting for Freiheit, freedom. The night the wall fell. On November 9, 1989, a confused government announcement changed history. An East German official mistakenly declared on live TV that citizens could now travel freely to the West. Thousands of East Berliners rushed to the checkpoints that night. At first, guards were unsure what to do. They had no clear orders. But as the crowds grew, the pressure became unbearable. Finally, at around 10:45 p.m., the border gates were opened. The impossible had happened. East and West Berliners hugged, cried, and climbed atop the wall together. People hammered away pieces of the concrete, souvenirs of history. Fireworks lit the sky as the divided city became one again. Reunification and a new Germany. Less than a year later, on October 3, 1990, Germany was officially reunified. The fall of the Berlin Wall didn't just unite a city, it ended the Cold War divide across Europe. The event marked the collapse of the Soviet Union and the beginning of a new world order based on democracy and freedom. Berlin transformed from a symbol of separation into one of hope, creativity, and global unity. Legacy of the Berlin Wall. Today, only fragments of the wall remain, preserved as historical monuments. Visitors from around the world come to touch the scar of a divided past. The fall of the Berlin Wall reminds us that even the tallest barriers built by fear and oppression can be torn down by human courage and hope. It stands as a message to every generation. Freedom is powerful and unity is possible. Conclusion. The wall came down, but the memory lives on. The night of November 9, 1989, was not just the fall of a wall. It was the rise of humanity's spirit. For Berliners, it meant the return of families. For Europe, it meant the end of an era of division. And for the world, it was proof that change, no matter how impossible it seems, can always come true. The Berlin Wall fell, but its story continues to inspire generations to fight for freedom, peace, and unity. Finally, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share this World History Facts Hub channel.